Okay, good evening, and my name is DrWeez, and I'm also an overclocker. So this is my return to the stream after a very successful trip through to Taiwan. For those of you that were following, there was a couple of events going on there. So the HW World Tour happened, and it was quite an enjoyable event. I didn't get to actually take part as much as I would have liked to have, but all in all, it was a very well-run event. So basically what we've got going on tonight is a little bit of the submission window for opens this weekend. That's ASUS, no, not ASUS, wPrime. That we need to use is even 17 with a single GPU. Now, I'm running a little bit late. This is my first stream from coming back from Taiwan, and I'll show you in a minute. Now, everything's a little bit chaos. I had a few issues before leaving for Taiwan, and my life's a little bit. Going away, I'm taking the away. While talking to you, I've been stream, but half an hour is really going. Let's run through some of the things that we'll be using tonight, and if we just transition across quickly. Right, so on the workbench tonight, we've got the Coolermaster V1200 Platinum power supply, which is up delivering the power to the system tonight. We've got the Coolermaster JetFlow 120mm flange, and that's going to be pulling the moisture and the coolness away from our board. We're running the board is the ROG Maximus VIII Gene, and we've got the Intel Core i7 6700K processor on there. 4 cores, 8 threads. I'm expecting to get at least 6.3, 6.4 out of this chip tonight. Whether that is wPrime stable or not, I don't know. So we'll soon see, but that's what I'm expecting. For the memory solution, I'm running the HyperX Fury Black 26615s. So these are the same kits that I've been using all season. From next season or from the next round, Kingston have sent us a new set of memory, and these are a engineering sample supplied to us by Kingston, single-sided Hynix chips, and they are modules single-sided. So these are the equivalent, for instance, say, of the B-Die from Samsung, which is also 8 gig. So we've got some of those, and then other exciting news coming up is I've got a whole lot of new hardware for us to play with and to test. The main one being the Rampage 5 Edition 10, and the Broadwell ECC. I don't know the ECC just yet, but I do have the board in my hands, and that I'll be bringing to the stream as soon as I can get my hands on an $1,800 CPU. So from that, what I've just done now is copy the last of the files I needed onto the USB drive, and we're going to get cracking now. So the plan is to run Windows XP 32-bit for wPrime 32M, and a couple of other. You'll see the quality of the stream will be about 300 times better now. There'll be no more switching issues between benchmarks and resolutions. I can also now bring to you a good stream via the VGA port instead of having to always use HDMI, which was limiting some of my overclocks. And yeah, it's all coming together quite nicely. let me know if you have any questions. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Do try and answer anything that might come up there. So, as soon as I've just got the memory set a little bit too tight for the temperature, I'm going to go ahead and start cooling down now. What actually might need the temperature probe. Okay, so DrWeez's useless information for the evening. In the OC lab is 16 degrees. Outside at the moment is about 5 degrees. We've got a cold front coming through. The high temperatures at the moment outside during the day is reaching 12 degrees, and that's very comfortable. Coming from sunny Taiwan, where we're hitting 33, 34 degrees every damn day with 80% humidity, coming home to this cold weather has not been pleasant. Alright, but anyway, let's have a look. See, some other interesting news coming out of Taiwan during Computex was that the main title sponsor, or the memory sponsor for the World Tour was ZADAC. So some of you might be asking who is ZADAC, and well, it's a new brand that is launching. Quite interestingly, during the World Tour, they actually broke the DDR4 frequency with it, which was then later taken back by another manufacturer. But all in all, it seemed to be interesting, and it's definitely scaled with voltages and temperature. So I'm trying to get my hands on a set of that to bring testing on the stream. So what we've got is straightforward wPrime, and I'll just do a quick see if we are at least stable just on the back foot. Right, should be hopefully trying my best, which is 3.257 seconds. Process speed for my personal best is 22. That was done on a as well, running BIOS 14. So let's just go through and see what the system is configured for at the moment. So we just had a nice and easy 4 gig. The memory I've got clocked to 3600, and a nice and easy clock. I do have some issues posting and getting 55s and 41s. I think that is due to the board. And as you can have a look here, you see I'm running the Fury 2666C15. This new killer memory only arrived this morning, so I haven't had a chance to really play with it. I need to get a score done for the stage before Friday is when I'm leaving for a week's holiday. Submission windows are very close together. And I haven't checked it, whatever it is, audio, make happy days. Right, so for those of you who might have been following my streams before Taiwan, you might have picked up on a small issue that I was having where I couldn't install NVIDIA drivers. I couldn't use NVIDIA Inspector. Just generally speaking, my systems were terribly unstable and I had major issues. Well, I have resolved that issue, and I'm willing to share my information to anybody that asks a question on on one of my social media platforms. So post the question and I shall give you the answer. Trying to get a little bit of interaction going, I guess. Anyway, so the plan for now is to just cool down to minus 140, then we'll go into BIOS with 6 clocks and we'll be acre away. Okay. Alright, so let's have a look at what the actual humidity is here. So this session I estimate will only run for an hour. We've been going now for 10 minutes, and let's have a quick squiz at the weather app. Okay, so is there anything else here? We just have a look at the quick timings. So it's the stock standard profile, nothing special at all, and we will set some timings, maybe not. Right, so the temperature at the moment is 5 degrees outside, and we have got a humidity factor of 78% with 2% cloud cover. That humidity at 78% is not the same type of humidity you'd expect from a coastal region. It's a dry, cold humidity, if that makes any sense. Okay, so what I wanted to do was just quickly install this version of wPrime. Okey-dokey. Good evening, Mark. How are you doing? Yeah, running awesome. That's good to hear. I hear crumbling on the audio. Not sure if it's on my end. So the crumbling, I'll listen to the replay. It could be due to the Bluetooth dongle. I might need to move it closer. Or it could be due to the headset. I'm not quite sure. There's something to work on. Just the new Bluetooth version 4 dongle in to try and see if it improves the audio. If not, then we have to go back to the drawing board, and unfortunately the next solution is not a very cheap solution. But we are working on trying to resolve the audio issues. Right, so I'm currently at minus 45 degrees. I'm just really cooling down a little slowly, and we might get back into the BIOS and start setting some clocks. So we are running wPrime, and for that we can change a few settings here and performance, and we can just go for adjust for best performance. Okay, system cache. Okay, no paging, file system managed, and we're going to custom. Okay. So the news about ROG E now that it's been launched, gains over the old Haswell E, but it is a low clocking platform, unfortunately. So we won't see the 5.9 to 6 GHz of previous generations, but we will be seeing 5.4, 5.3, 5.2 coming out of it. Disappointing, but I suppose Broadwell itself is about the same. So no big surprise there, I guess. The good news is that Kirby Lake, if you take the keynote coming out of Computex, the closing keynote that was given by the Intel exec, is that Kirby Lake, the Z270, I believe, refresh, or the Z270 chipset will be out before end of year. So we'll only be forced to play with Broadwell E until then, hopefully. So basically, I'm just busy trying to reboot, and I'm getting a bunch of 55s and 41s, and that's just mainly because I think the SA voltages are a little bit low. They're all at stock at the moment, and I got the memory sort of clocked up. It's going to cause me some problems. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go, and I'm just going to load a profile. Easier than going and playing too much. Okay, so this is the SuperPower 30 1M profile that I used, and any key things we need to change really would be 2 cores, 2 threads. We want all, and we want hyper-threading enabled. The other thing we just have to check is our voltages, so 1.7, 1.75, and there you can see the SA voltage up. So I'm at minus 100 now, and I can reboot this and just keep cooling it down, and we should be good to go. Okay, so yeah, we're good to go. It's trained the memory. Minus 140. Okay, so this chip we know minus 178 around there is my cold buggish temperature, and we want to just get to around 160, 170 and hoverish until we start getting the clocks up and we start needing the temperature. So I think the Skylake platform Z170 is getting a bit boring for the stream, so I'm really glad that I'll be able to finish some Broadwell E and some 1080 clocking. I'm just waiting for 1080 cards to be a little bit reasonable in price. Local market, should you not, it's a little expensive. Even if you take the recommended retail price, import duties and whatnot are killing us a little bit. not to worry. Let's get some temperature. And let's look to see where we can go. After wPrime, important thing, change that. Again, try and wPrime, set priority high, set affinity, all processes. So you can also use process lasso to do that trick. Okay, 58. Stable. Am I chasing again? 325 is what I'm chasing. I'm already at 3499. Should be easy, right? Should be easy. So let's just have a look and see what we do. Okay, minus 170. 6.2. And that is almost a new personal best. Okay. So managed to do 6.2. 1.7 volts. Getting a couple of 41s on the post. Keep retrying. I think it's my Genie. Okay, it's trained at minus 150. I don't know if that's got any current, not. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to go up to 1.8 volts and then see if I can do 6.3. That's a new personal best. Okay, that's a new personal best. Let's try 64. No, okay. So we can do 63 at 1.8. And that was a 3. I kicked myself for not saving that screenshot, I can guarantee you. 3.171. Okay, we're back into callback territory. What that put me, if we have a look at competitors are, and we go back to okay, callback. Right, so at 3171, it's not even top 20 yet. Right, so 25 is still cold bug. So at 6.3, I should be in the 310, 314 range. My efficiency seems to be okay. Let's start with more voltage. Okay, we're just going to 41s and 55s again. Okay. Okay, came back at minus 150. Last time at minus 152 at the moment. I'm just going to keep retrying. Minus 150. Okay, so it doesn't look like the temperature has any consequence. Okay, there's trained. Minus 147. Right, so the plan now is to go 1.9 volts and see if we can do 6.4. We'll just take the same strategy again. So we go up 1 multiplier at a time. to get the temperatures back in. Same box. 171, that's the same. Better. Okay, let's do it. So I'm pouring with my right hand and I am using the mouse with my left hand, if you're wondering why it's the place. I'm going to save that score because that will give us, top 20, tied for 20th. Okay, let's start trying to squeeze out a little bit. Just 19th spot. Ah, shit, should have set the screenshot. Alright, well, 6.4 was pretty good. And I think definitely the problem there was temperature. Okay, so we're going to cold bug on the boot. No, we didn't. We had memory issues. Okay, and we trained. Yeah, I've got the loading screen coming up, but for some reason it hasn't switched through the splitter. So I've got screen up. I don't know why it hasn't picked up that it's rebooted. I think the only way for me to do that now is I'm not picking it up on my screen. Maybe the splitter. Let's just try rebooting the splitter. Okay, that worked. Alright, so to explain to you what I've got going on here, if you have a look, okay, so I'll just transition from here quickly to the full screen. So coming out the back of the VGA card, going along here, it goes through to a VGA splitter where I split the VGA signal into two parts. From there, it comes all the way back this way into a 3-screen array. So on the one screen I've got the stream, on another screen I've got my HDMI feed, and then on the other screen I've got my VGA feed. So that way I can pick up what's going through to the stream so that you guys don't miss a thing. It's quite a complicated setup, moving parts, but I'm glad that the VGA splitter and that stuff's finally working, because as you know, part of 2D benching, you need to bench on VGA. You can't bench on HDMI for some of these things. It really can be problematic. Let's go back to 1.9. Then we're just going to push that ratio, and we're going to try and do a 64 run on the first run. Yeah, first run magic, maybe you get a competitive score, some efficiencies, and then we'll just set the core count up to that, and we're going to change it to high, and then let's go ahead and drop this up to 364. We need to be at minus 177. Where's the run? Okay, 64. Alright, and let's drop that temperature. Okay. 175, 177. Yes, that's it. Ah, and we froze. Ah, I think that was cold bug. Okay, but anyway, that score would have now put us tied for 14 place. So I think a second run would maybe come to 13th place. And where we in comparison to our competitors, 6.4. Yeah, it's thereabouts. Okay, let's go ahead and try and get this back from Coldbug. And to make things more entertaining, I'll transition across. Alright, so we've got okay, I'm going to go ahead and just do a run now and save a score, because I think we might actually end up with some issues. Surprisingly, on the memory, there's a fair amount of frost. It's really different benching in this climate from benching in summer here. You've really got to start taking different precautions. So in summer, you're like crazy to put too much paper and stuff over your memory. You need to just catch it at the bottom. Now in winter, everything just wants to freeze over so much quicker. And if you notice the sort of ice build-up around the pot shells, it's hard to explain. It's almost as if it's harder and smaller than bigger and fluffier, if that makes any sort of sense to an overclocker. It's such a drastic extremes from summer to winter here in Johannesburg. Right, so we're back up and running. We're back into Windows now. I've learned now I can just restart the VGA splitter and Bob's uncle things come back to life. Right, so we're going to try and do that 6.4 first run again. I need to be a little bit more careful with the pot. This chip can cold bug 188, 185 on my multimeter, so we need to make sure that we are thereabouts and not too cold. Alright, so we're going to go and try and just do 0.1 of a base clock higher on the first run. If we're lucky, we can get a second run in and get a good score. Okay, minus 160. On. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get to 177, minus 177, but I want to get there slowly, and then I want to also just hover there ever so slightly before I start, just to give the chip time for the temperature to get through. So then minus 177. And I'm just going to stay here just for a little while. I wait for the temperature to drop a bit, or to climb a bit, back up to 176.5. Give it another little splash, and then we're going to run. Okay, let's go. Ah, no. So we didn't crash, or we didn't cold bug, we crashed. We'll try 1.95 volts. 1.95 volts maybe. Okay. Okay, so we are still cold boot bugging, which means we haven't lost the contact yet. One more check. Yep, okay. Alright, so hitting the 41s and 55s again, and there's it's drained. No, sorry, it's way too soon. 55. This memory is really cold, really icing up. Okay, we've drained. Okay, I'm going to save that screenshot. Let's just save the screenshot. Let's not be too stupid now. It's a good score. Alright, so let's just make sure we've got everything we need here. We've got main board, memory, SPD, and okay, happy days, screenshot, open, properties, find target, preview, Bob's your uncle. Okay. So now we could try tuning the memory a bit, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and just push that one base clock extra. Or not even one base clock, that 0.1 base clock. Just to try and edge out that the next place. I need more nitrogen. Alright, so let's go ahead and just see where we are. We are 6.407. Okay. Well, all in all, I think that's not a bad achievement. Definitely better than I was expecting. So it puts me on par with Freddie on the spread of the and Nacho. The worrying thing is that I should be a little quicker if you take into consideration where my peers are. And I think that's got to do with maybe I haven't played enough with my memory talks. So maybe we can test that theory ever so quickly and see if we can do something with memory time. Although I am concerned, I've just rebooted at minus 173, which is not theoretically possible with this processor. So we might have had some separation issues. The easiest way to tell that is if we if I have a look at GameCop submission, he's running 6.4, same as my CPU, and he is running on the Genie as well, but on a different BIOS. The difference is he's running B-DIME memory at 1935. Really much faster memory, much tighter timings, and that could be all the difference. It could be the difference. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is try something crazy. No one's watching. No one can see it. Okay, and I suppose one other thing we could also try would be the cache. Maybe it is bottlenecking there. Come on, set. And oh, it's getting chilly in this OC lab now. Let's get the temperature right. And we're going to run. We've frozen. Okay. So 314 was slower than 109, and we were unable to do the second run. So let's heat up. Let's get back into the BIOS. Okay. The frost has come all the way through to the third dim. That's something you really don't see often. I don't see this session lasting very much longer, to be perfectly honest. When you start seeing the moisture and then that frost coming all the way through to this dim, it's not really good. So I'm in the BIOS. Yes. Let's have a look and see what we can do. 3600. Let's try 1.85, 1.8, 1.8, 1.85, 1.8, 1.85. I think these are 1.8. So this should be 3866 1.8. Let's see what we've got here. I haven't clocked A4 for so long. No, it's not going to work. Should go 12, 17, 17, I think. Wow. That's not going to work. Good evening, George Storm. Okay, thanks for the feedback. I will check that out on the replay. I have installed a new Bluetooth dongle. Evening, E30 Birdie. I'm going to have a look at the audio. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Just to give you guys a recap of everyone that's running W522 M29, and this is for the ProOC Cup. Round 3, stage 4. The hardware I'm running is the ROG Maximus VIII Gene with the Intel Core i7 6700K. So far I've managed to reach 6.4, 4 cores, 8 threads. It's stable, but it's not stable, so I was looking at tuning the memory a little bit, but I have got some interesting condensation issues going on where the cold, due to the current climate in South Africa, is a little bit different than I expected, and coming through the memory DIMMs up to the third DIMM, which I haven't insulated it. I've got a little bit of frost build up there. Not great. So I have reached what I thought I would be able to do with the CPU, and I'm going to give it one more try. I'm just going to do a little bit more crazy on some of the voltages, a little bit more stability at 6.407, and if I can, then I might be able to just improve my score ever so slightly, but I haven't been able to find that stability at that high clock. So what I'm going to try and do is termination voltage up as well. The DMI voltage should be right there, and the standby voltage for PLL system agent, right. So it's really just the PLL termination I wanted to push up a little bit, and let's get that ratio. So we go back to 60 there, and we're going to go to 64 here. So we're going to try first run magic, and hopefully we have a good score. Right, so I need to get down to minus 180 before I can start the benchmark. Okay, we got a question from Ethan. I'm waiting for my new setup. It's crazy overclocking like you. I got an i7 6800K. Yeah, it's a nice chip. I'm hopefully going to be getting my hands on one of those in the next couple of weeks to play with. The 6800K and the 6950X. I briefly tested the 69 in Taipei. Seems to be performing quite nicely. Alright, so a move from a 2700K setup, that's definitely a big jump, I must tell you. You're going to love the Rampage Edition 10. I've got two of them here in the lab waiting to be tested, and really great boards. Alright, so we're at minus 178, minus 180. Okay, let's run. Oh, that looks solid. Not good though. Okay, let's run again. Come on, come on. Okay, so we didn't make it through all the threads. Maybe we can recover. That typically is the voltage issue, where it doesn't finish like that. So it definitely seems a lot more stable at this frequency than before, if you can call it stable. No, okay. Alright, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually going to improve on my board without really going through and having a look at the memory timings and that whole setup. The problem I have is the condensation issues. So going and trying to tighten up the timings too much now is really not going to do me any good, because of the moisture on the board already. So I'm going to go ahead and save this bias profile as a good starting point. I do need to run CMOC 06 this week still, and I estimate if I'm able to run wPrime 32M at 6.4, I'll only be able to run 06 maybe at 6.35. So I'm going to be running 06 with the Galaxy Hall of Fame 980 Ti, and I think it needs to be cold as well. I'm not too sure. I need to just go and check in my notes, and I'm planning on doing that tomorrow night or Thursday night on the stream. So be sure to subscribe and follow me on Facebook to keep up to what's crack-a-lacking. So you can see when I come online. You can follow me on Twitch to get notification of when I start to stream, and that way you won't miss any of my exciting and riveting overclocking sessions. George was making a comment that he's just picked up a couple of socket 775 chips to try and get back into benching. What the funny part about the comment was is that he said he grabbed a couple from K404 last week to avoid them being totally useless. I know that feeling all too well. No two chips are ever made the same, for those of you who are not sure. And K404 Kenny, he's a well-known British overclocker. He used to be part of Bench Tech UK, and then he broke away. I think he's now part of Overclocking. He's been in that for a little while. We hope hoping to see him make a comeback as well as you, George. So let's just save this profile, save it to 5, and that's it. So always remember to load optimized defaults at the end of your session to prevent you from booting a chip up at insane voltages. And yeah, the next step is to save the screenshot and be done with it. For those that have not seen it yet, I can quickly give you a show and tell. This is the board that we used during the World Tour. I was lucky enough to be able to get my hands on it after much digging and pleading. And I can show you today the next generation of Rampage, full of gasoline, of course. So here's the Rampage 10 edition, edition 10. So very quickly, the things that I'm is the I/O panel. It now comes fixed, so there's no more backplate. The backplate you get with the just an outline. This has got LEDs. This has got LEDs. This has got LEDs. There's LEDs in the board. There's LEDs here. It's got all the connectivity that you can come to love and expect. This is LEDs, backlit. I mean, it's really with your M.2s, and there's really a lot of functionality built into this compared to the old Rampage. I'm really looking forward to bringing you guys some content on this board, along with maybe a certain new video card released by NVIDIA. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, please do drop me a message and I can relay it on to people. So I'm going to wrap up and say thank you for watching. The replay will be available on YouTube in the morning or in the evening, depending on what time zone you're in. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, happy benching.